Hey everyone, this is Matt N3VAN. Been a while. It's been about a month since I put up a video. Been busy with family, work, getting the kids back to school, but I wanted to get this video out there. I got a bunch more that are coming, but I've been using the Xiegu X6100 for parks on the air activations, as well as setting up for emergency communications, SHTF communications, and really love this radio. It's a software-defined radio, as many of you know, has a built-in tuner, but you know me, I don't like tuners. I use the NFED half-wave resonant wires, and they're great. But if you have a 9-to-1 balun, either from myself or from others, like Nelson Antennas makes a great one, you can actually tune it with this. It has a built-in battery. You can hook it up to your computer for digital communications through the USB-C port right here under Dev, or wireless if you're using the more current version, which is less buggy. Great radio. But what's really neat is something just came out, and it's the latest firmware version, which is version 1.1.7. And let me check. I believe I have the 1.16 on here. Yep, based on the Linux operating system. And the great thing about this new version of the 1.1.7 is not only does it make the wireless or Bluetooth connection capability that much better, they fixed a few of the bugs, but it gives you WFView, which is an open source interface for Icom transceivers. So if you're an Icom person, which unfortunately I'm not really, I actually just got my first Icom radio, which is the IC706 MK2 Golf, and I'm going to probably be doing a small little review and showing you guys a little bit more about that. It's pretty much like a doomsday radio, great radio. But what the WFView does is it gives you full support of the radio, from like spectrum and waterfall, tuning control, mode selection, twin band pass band filters, RF gain, S meter, pretty much anything. It gives you full control of this. It's an open source software, and it's fantastic. So I'm very excited about this. I want to just check mine, but as you see, it has the WLAN as well as Bluetooth. And then right down here, once I do the update, which I'm going to show you how to do the update, you'll see something called WFView, and then there's some settings that you want to go through to actually connect to, and we'll be doing that as well. So I'm going to go in there. There we go. I'm using the previous version, 1.1.6, working flawless, and I can actually do remote connection through the wireless LAN without any issue. So what we'll do is we'll update this. Let me turn this off. Yeah, I don't have a dummy load on there, but I wasn't planning on bumping the push to talk. To upgrade this, come on, turn off. There we go. You need a micro SD card. They're rather cheap if you don't have one. Some cell phones come with them. And right over here is the micro SD port where you slide it in there. But first, we got to install the software, the firmware, onto the micro SD card. And to do that, we're going to use my laptop. So hang on with me. We'll go over to my laptop and I'll show you how to download the firmware, put it onto this micro SD card, and then we'll get back in here to do the firmware upgrade and see all the goodies that it provides. Alright guys, we are on my laptop, Surface Go, and I'm not sure how well this is going to go. I'm running OBS on there, so the quality might be a little less than lacking. So first, what you want to do is pop in that micro SD card into your computer, just to make sure there is nothing on there. So boom, great. Alright, so it's empty. Next, you want to open up your web browser of choice. I like to use Brave. And you want to download a application to install the firmware onto the micro SD card. And you can either use Balena Etcher, which is nice. We'll just Google that for that. And that is the flashing OS images or other type of images to an SD card or USB drive. I kind of like Rufus myself, and this also does the exact same thing. I'm a little partial to this. Let me see if I can actually use the screen. There we go. We're just going to use the portable one. Let's download that. All right, so you want to open Rufus. There we go. All right, so it's open there. Now, after this, we want to go on Google and look for the Xiegu X6100 Firmware download. Okay. Let's see. I like to get, I mean, they got the European Union one, the EU one. I like the Radiodity. Let's see, or Radiodity. However you guys want to say it. So, whoop, there we go. There's the upgrade log. So 1.17. All right, yep. Also note, you know, your radio must be connected to 13.8 volt power supply, which we will do. I know when I started this video, we did not have that on there. So we're going to definitely be doing that. Let's click there to download. Is this the correct one? Yep. 6100. Oh, there we go. Let's save that. As you can see, I have a WFView already downloaded, so we're good there. So that's pretty much it, unless you want to do, let's see, firmware upgrade. Pretty simple to do. Yeah, I got the XPA 125 Bravo as well. I have not played with it yet, and I also got the G90, so a lot of future radios I'm going to be showing you guys, and very curious to see how I like the X6100 compared to the G90. A lot of features on the 6100 that are not in the G90, so it's going to be interesting. All right, so let's open this up. Let's actually go over here. We're going to extract this. Yeah, I'm using the touch. That's why you're not seeing the mouse. Sorry, guys. I have a touch screen on this and absolutely love it, so you're going to have to bear with me there. So actually, I'll probably use the mouse, so it'll help you guys out. Okay, so I'm extracting it, so there's no issues of transferring firmware. So you're going to have to extract that. Let me close out this window so it's not confusing to you. All right. So there is some documentation. Let's see the tools. All right. So they already include Rufus. That's the program I like to use. So you don't have to download that. Sorry about that. It actually comes with it, which is really nice. Some of the other firmware updates, it does not come there. There we go. You should be able to. Yeah, this is Windows 11. Not my favorite. See if Rufus shows up. Nope, that's right. I have portable edition. So let's close that out. And what we want to do is go over to Rufus. We don't want to do updates right now. We just want to get you going. All right. So as you saw previously, it's a 32 gig image, and this will wipe anything on there. So if you have critical information, pictures, anything on there, work stuff, your kid's homework or exam that needs to be done, need to be submitted, and make sure you back that up. Don't just do this right away. So we go in there, SD card, 2023-0807. So it's been about a little, almost a month. And I just found out about it this weekend from a friend of mine, N3RTB. All right, so there's the warning. Anything on that little micro SD card is going to get destroyed, but we don't have to worry because we plugged it in first and saw it is completely empty. So there we go. This might be a little slow. This is on my Surface Go 3 LTE. So it's not the fastest computer. It's not the one I did the Nano VNA video on. It is just my comms laptop. So might take a little bit. There we go. Writing this image. And then once this is done, we will look in the documentation real quick and then get right back over to the Xiegu X6100, and I'll show you how to do the firmware update, which is rather simple compared to some other radio firmware updates, which gets you a little worried about bricking the whole thing. But there is always a risk doing a firmware update of bricking it, so be very careful. All right, that actually wasn't too bad for the size of this. All right, let's go back here. So documentation. Oh, nice. So they give you all the information with regards to tutorial. Note it needs to be connected to external power. That is absolutely critical, and that's why they have, it's probably a blank text file. Yeah, look at this. Completely blank. It's just the name to remind you, which I think is fantastic. Release notes to show you what has changed. Yep, add that. And they also, I heard, the little bit of cleaning up. So let's see. You guys can look through this later on at your convenience. Yeah, there it is, WF. So the WF icon's going to be there. We are going to see that. I got to go set this up. Yeah, there it is. We'll be going through this tutorial together to set this up very shortly. And there's the upgrade tutorial. Pretty simple. We're going to go through it together. So basically, 100% make sure that your radio is plugged into the, oops, I don't want to convert. Yeah, that was me bumping it. That's why I don't like the keyboard and mouse on this thing. All right, so prepare a micro SD card. We did that. Come on. Are we scrolling? Ah, it went too fast. All right, hang on, guys. So that's what we were doing before. Let's page up. Yep. Pretty much everything which I showed you, we did. Yeah, the old ones were the .img file. They're labeled a little differently. Yep. And what you want to do is you want to upgrade to this. That's what they're talking about on the base band firmware. So slowly upgrade to it. This way you're not having any issues. You could try to do it, but I would recommend against it. So hang on one second. Let me stop this video, and then we will go and update the firmware together on my Xiegu X6100. All right, now that we have that installed on the micro SD, we got to pop power onto this and do the two firmware upgrades. I got my Biano 4.5 amp hour battery, and one thing I wanted to note is the actual DC power cable that comes with it. This is not it. I bought this on Amazon. It's a lot better. It doesn't have the braided shielding, which is grounded like the other one. The one that comes with it, I don't know, in my opinion, it's defective, because if you short that out, you're gonna have major issues with this radio, and I believe a friend of mine already did. So that's just my opinion. I got a little bit better cable, nice little right angle on here. So we're gonna power this up. Toss this there. And actually, do I have my dummy load with me? Hang on one second. Anytime I do a firmware upgrade, I like to put the dummy load on there, because during the upgrade, who knows what's going to happen. Alright, is this it? Alright, so I got this massive one. I got smaller ones coming. Friend of mine, Rick and 3RTB, had a real nice one when I saw him this weekend. So, alright, with that dummy load and actual power on there, you want to insert the micro SD card. It's actually the logo facing down and the connectors facing up. We're going to install that. Hear a nice little positive click. Alright, so after that, you make sure obviously your Xiegu X6100 is off. Insert that card in there, and then let's turn it on. Logo will appear, disappear, and then it should upgrade. Let's see what we got. See? Let me zoom in. As you can see along with me, it is upgrading. Alright, so that's the first part of the upgrade. We're doing this first. Then you have to go in, obviously turn it off. There we go. 100%. Alright, it's powering off. 3, 2, 1, 0. And then what you want to do is take out that micro SD card. Okay, because if not, after the flash, and if you turn it back on, it's going to constantly keep doing the installation over and over again. So we're going to turn this off because it looks like it's apparently on, even though it said, oh, there we go, it's turning back on. Now we're going to upgrade the baseband firmware because we only did one of the upgrades. And I'll keep it zoomed in for you guys. I think that looks good on the screen. There we go. System settings. Hey, there's WFServer. Let me just make sure about the upgrade. Because on the older documentation when I upgraded it previously. Alright, so what that was for the app. As you can see up here, it's do I have a pointer pen? Let's see. This will work. I usually have that real nice pointer. Do I have that somewhere around here? Ooh, I do. Bear with me. So up here, 1.1.7. So inserting this micro SD card in when it's off and then booting it will install the app firmware. The next one we need to do is do the base firmware. And to do that, once you turn it back on after the first initial one, you want to insert the micro SD card. Nice positive click. Go into firmware upgrade. And is that it? Is there only one base? I guess it's just one base. Alright guys, what I wanted to do is I wanted to research this. When I went into the firmware upgrade, it was showing, like you guys saw, the version 1.1.6. And I actually went ahead and hit the upgrade. And I did notice there was a change. And this was after I read a little bit about it on the forum, that there was minor changes. And as you can see, the base still says version 1.1.6, but it did change. Before it was, I believe, November something 2022. So I believe there is a significance in updating that, and we should be fine. The next thing is actually connecting it. According to the documentation that comes with the firmware upgrade is first download, obviously, WFView, which is the open source software. We already did that. Well, actually, I did already do that. And then connect your radio to Wi-Fi with WLAN, or connect it directly to a network card, which would be a fantastic connect. And to actually do that, you use the host connection right here. You don't use the dev, you use host. And what you want to do is plug it into a USB-C to Ethernet or RJ45 adapter, and then you hook it up to your router or switch, and you should be good. I mean, that's if your Wi-Fi is poor, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up my Wi-Fi. Mine is actually hidden, so I'm going to enter this information in, and so you won't have any issues. So just either scan, see if your Wi-Fi picks up. Has to be within the same room based on my experience. Myself, I had to actually manually enter my Wi-Fi in. So bear with me, I'll be right back and we'll get this working. Whew, was that a big pain in the butt? I'm glad I didn't film that for you. You guys would be bored. Anyway, one thing I found out is the Xiegu X6100 as this firmware, you cannot add a hidden SSID, a hidden wireless network. So I had to open up my wireless network here at my office, and then the other pain in the butt was password. That's always fun to put in. Actually not as bad as I thought. And then the IP address, which you should know your network. It's not going to automatically do that. You can if you want on DHCP, but I didn't want to overwrite any other IPs or have any conflicts, which it really shouldn't, but should be good. So entered all those in. I assume, since this is a Linux-based operating system, that I could have went into the back end by accessing it through root. And there is videos on YouTube, a bunch of others were able to root this and gain access, and you have access to those files. So you could actually put the hidden SSID in there. Not going to go over in this video. If you guys are interested, I may delve deeper in there and show you how to do that. But now that the wireless is all set up, let's go over to not Bluetooth. What am I doing, Matt? Tired. All right, so rig name. We're probably going to keep this all the same. Yeah, that's fine. We're going to keep this all the same just for just for the purposes of this video. So let's start the server. See if we get started with the defaults. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. All right, so the server is started. Let me go over and actually hook up my computer, and I'll do the film screening on there as well and show you guys how to connect to this. So let's go over there. All right, one quick thing before going over the computer, you just exit out of that thing, go back into the main screen, and if it started and running, you'll see a nice little blue notification icon, and that is, it'll say WF for WF viewer. So that means the server is actually running, and obviously wireless is showing on there as well. So let's get over to that laptop, and I'll do the rest of the configuration there. All right, guys, we're back over onto the comms laptop. Now that we have everything configured over on the Xiegu X6100, let's open up WFView and configure it. Cancel the connection or it's going to error out. Go into settings, and I believe I made my IP address 10.0.0.183, port 50,000, 50,001. Username is user, and again, the secret squirrel password is 123. All right, let's connect the radio and see what's going. Also, remember, it might be set to serial. Always switch over to network. Let's see, are we connecting? Not quite yet. Oh, there we go. Look at the latency down here. 197 milliseconds. It's one of the things that they don't like. Not the positive on here. As you can see, Spectrum is working. It's a little slow. Let me see if I can fix this. There we go. Latency is still 315 milliseconds if you see down here. It's in the other room, the router, and that's part of the problem. Let's see if we can change bands. Did it switch? Oh yeah, we're already in 40. So you can go in here. We're going to do a more in-depth video of WFView in the future. See if we can switch to 20. Hey, that's working. And this, we should be able to adjust it. And it does work. Even though the receive latency is pretty high, it definitely seems to work a lot better. I don't want to transmit right now, even though I am on the dummy load. And you can actually enter your frequency, and boom, changes right down here. It'd be nice if I could just right-click or click in here and change it, but they do have it nicely. Either you could select bands, like let's go back down to the 40 meter band, and it works beautiful. So in the future, we're going to do a more in-depth view on the Xiegu X6100 with the WFView, but for now, that's pretty much it. Configure the settings over here. Just make sure you select network, pop in that host name, which is the IP address. Port number, control port number is 5001, and then whatever username and password you select to configure it with. I don't recommend using the defaults, but we did that here. So any questions, please put it in the comments. And if you like this video and want to know more, see more about the Xiegu X6100 with the new features with WFView, please put it in the comments. I'll be glad to do more on this and delve deeper into WFView. So that's it for now. I'll catch you on the next one. This is Matt, N3VAN, and I'm out of here.